I'm going to tell a story now that the tape also ran out on. It's just a coincidence. I was born in Philadelphia, which is a city of brotherly love. So this is a story about brotherly love. It's about my sister Stella, who I saved her life when we were kids. And the thing about it that surprises me over the years is how bitter she is. And you think she'd be grateful. And she's not, and perhaps she can help me understand why. Now I'm going to need a little audience participation here, because here's the thing. My sister's name is Stella. She's going to be watching this, hopefully, on YouTube someday. She lives in South Carolina. So what I'd like you all to do, at the count of 3, channel your inner Marlon Brando from Streetcar or Elaine from Seinfeld and give me a Stella, okay? 1, 2, 3. See, she'll hate that. And see, I never understood it. She couldn't stand, her whole childhood was guys coming up to her, falling to their knees, yelling Stella in bars, tearing off their shirts. It really made her bitter. And she also was bitter that she was born 11 months after me, which meant that she went through school with me in the same grade. So we went through elementary school in a Catholic school with the nuns, and my name's Patrick, so I sat the seat in front of her. And every year, the first day, the nun would say, "Oh, Patrick, Stella, Patrick, are you two twins?" And my sister would lean forward in her chair and whisper in my ear, "Don't say it, don't say it." And I would say, "No, we're married." Because some jokes never get old. She also didn't like the division of chores in her household. My brother and I had one chore. We did the trash, we alternated weeks, we fought like cats and dogs about it. My father traveled, my mother worked multiple jobs. So my sister did the cleaning, the cooking, the laundry. As a little kid, she was very bitter about this. She thought she was Cinderella, but we were just making a feminist. One of her things was during dinners were rough for her, because what would happen is she'd put the food on the table, then go back into the kitchen. My brother and I were really good. We could flick a pea across the table into her milk while she's out, or we would switch the sugar put sugar into the salt shaker, things like that. To this day, my sister still eats like a convict, guarding her plate from people. She also, she didn't like, what else? Another thing about, Friday nights were fun, because my parents would go out, it was like date night. So they would go out. So it would be my brother, sister, and I, we'd watch a scary movie. And my sister never made it through the whole movie. She'd run upstairs to her room. Now the fact that she had her own room pissed us off, because we shared a cruddy little room with a bunk bed, my brother and I, our whole childhood. My sister had this nice room on the second floor that was adjacent to the roof, which becomes a factor. Because what would happen is, halfway through the movie, my sister would freak out, run upstairs into her room, and she'd go up in the room. So my brother and I, what we'd do is we'd go up there, and through some architectural quirk, you could lock her into her room. So we'd lock her into her room and then make scary noises, like, ooh, we do all that stuff. Our goal was to get her out onto the roof. If we got on the roof, then we said, "Stop, drop, and roll." Yeah, good times. Anyway, so my sister, one of her things was she still dates and everything, but she never married, because she said the idea of living with another man again has been destroyed. Now the saving life part. This is I was 6, she was 5. We wandered into a neighbor's barn. A Saint Bernard attacked my sister, bit her in the face. She's a beautiful woman. She looks great now, but this is very serious. Bit her right in the face. Fortunately, I was there. I sprung in action. I leaped on the great beast's back. I pried open its jaws. I said, "Run, Stell, run. Save yourself. My life is meaningless." Hold your applause. No need to stand. Oh, people, Stell, I wish you could see this. The reaction, as I expected it to be. People were kind of overwhelmed. My sister has a different version of events. Has anybody ever, that Japanese movie with the different perspectives of the same thing? You know what I'm talking about? Russian? No, I'm talking about Godzilla versus Mothra, but thank you. Fancy pants. I know what you're saying. No, her version, which she gleefully told my 3 children on a Christmas day, was, "What did your father say? Oh, no, no, no. He pushed me aside, screamed like a little girl, jumped out the window, ran away, leaving me to die." This upset my kids. So that night they couldn't sleep, and I come in, they go, "Dad, is this true?" And I said, "Kids, you gotta understand, your Aunt Stell suffered through a horribly traumatic event. And between that and the alcohol and the hard living, her mind is not quite where it was before. And they seem to accept that, knowing it still. Now, one final story about Stella. Because after this story, I thought the city of Philadelphia should be called the city of sisterly love. My sister was named after my mother, who was Stella Marie, and my grandmother, who was Stella Marie. And so when my mother passed away, my sister and I went to see the priest. And we went in there and we sat, and my brother was too upset to go. He was younger, and we went in there and we said, look, Father, when my father died, he died suddenly, no one spoke at his service. We would like to speak at my mother's service. And the priest was looking through some desk calendar. He just looked up for a second and goes, I'll give you guys 5 minutes. And he looks back down. Charming. So the service is going on, and they motion us up. We stand in the vestibule. We're waiting to go on. And the priest is talking away. And then another priest replaces him. I guess it's the stunt priest. Another priest goes up there. So the other priest goes over there, and he comes up to us. And we had both worked really hard on this speech to summarize a woman that we love so much in 5 minutes, especially my sister, who was really tight with my mom. He comes over and he's standing there, and he goes, you guys ready? And I go, yeah, Father, this is the hardest 5-minute speech I've ever written. And the priest goes, you misunderstand. I meant 5 minutes total for the two of you. So then he turns around. Now, before I could smack Father Charming across the back of my head, my sister grabbed my arm. And she goes, I'll do my speech in a minute. And I looked at her. I couldn't believe that. And she walked out. And the first thing she said, I always remember this, she goes, I am the last, trust me, the last of the Stella Maries. And the church roared because they knew how the name had cursed each one of the women. And then she proceeded to give the best speech I've ever heard in my life. And the whole time, all I kept thinking was, thank God I saved her life.